It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are delighted that you're joining us today on the John Fredericks Radio Network. You can listen to us on the John Fredericks Radio app and in 20 radio stations around the country. And you can also watch us on YouTube, or if you want to communicate with me, do it basically by sending a tweet to Michael P. Leahy on X. Michael P. Leahy. We're getting a lot of traffic on X. Also, I would like to hear from you. Our number is 615-649-8477. 615-649-8477. Well, look, again, just to set the stage here. There's been a period of time. How long has it been? I don't know. I've been working on this for 16 years since the start of it. That's a long time, folks. It's not just me. All the Tea Party people, all the America First people, we've been working to save this country for 16 years. With Donald Trump's resounding victory, we have indeed saved the country. Asterisk. We got to stick the landing. Now, what's fascinating to see is how the regime media, which has been exposed as being filled with a bunch of liars, is not quite getting it. And look, I think this is actually probably good, because it's going to move them towards more and more irrelevance. So Jen Psaki, former press secretary for Joe Biden, was on some podcast whining about it. Too much misinformation out there. Let's listen to Jen whine. Here we go. Clip 7.
There's obviously a lot of soul searching right now going on within the Democratic Party, and that's a good thing. But what I worry about is that in the course of all that soul searching, some Democrats might reach the wrong sweeping conclusions. And there are a lot of issues that fall into that bucket. But one in particular that stuck out to me is transgender rights. Republicans spent hundreds of millions of dollars on anti-trans ads this election cycle, including one that showed Vice President Harris talking about government funding for gender reaffirming care for prisoners and detainees. If that sounds like a particularly obscure issue, it is, because it applies to a tiny group of people. And it's also a policy that, by the way, was in place during the first Trump presidency. Another one of the lines that ran over and over again in those ads and throughout right-wing media is this idea that America is faced with a crisis of boys playing in girls' sports. Now, these ads created this perception that the issues of trans kids playing sports was dominating schools across the country, which is completely false.
Okay, let me just stop. Unbelievable. It was a huge issue. Huge issue. And there she is, that was an MSNBC thing. She was talking about it's not a big, it is a big issue. I mean, this is delusion land. And Jen Psaki, MSNBC, she's at the head of the delusion line. Now, someone who's not in the delusion line and is, I think, the epitome of the new media is our buddy Stephen K. Bannon. We're a strategic partner with the War Room. As you know, I was actually scheduled to go on this week sometime to talk about our Covenant Killer Manifesto case. But he's been a huge critic of Fox News. And Fox is interesting because instead of understanding what this is about with the nominations for the cabinet, this is Trump's team. Get behind him. They're pretending it's the old world, and they've got a bunch of weasels up there. Brian Kilmeade got it. I'm sorry if you're a Brian Kilmeade fan. Brian Kilmeade is a Fox News Murdoch weasel. I'm just telling you. And another weasel is Trey Gowdy. Here is Stephen K. Bannon talking about Trey Gowdy's opposition to the Gates nomination for Attorney General.
It could be best if the Murdochs got with the program, because these cabinet secretaries are going to be the cabinet secretaries. And Matt Gaetz, to be as Attorney General, and the team they put around that's been announced is an amazing team already. And he will be the quarterback. So it's going to happen. So don't try your cute stuff by using your puppets like Kilmeade and Trey Gowdy. Do we have the Trey Gowdy clip? Let's go ahead and play it.
Trey, I had Senator Thune on, the incoming Senate Majority Leader, yesterday, and he basically said, listen, it's not going to be easy. Some of these picks are not going to be easy to get through, but there is this mandate just by the vote that there is a feeling that Republican senators in particular, most of them, want to give the president what he wants. Some of them will be tough.
Yeah, the overwhelming majority of his picks will sail through because they were Grand Slam picks. But to Molly's point, you don't root out corruption at the Department of Justice by picking a corrupt person to lead it. So Matt Gaetz, either the report comes out and he's not going to be the Attorney General, or the report doesn't come out and he's not going to be the Attorney General. I mean, the problem, Brett, is all the good picks, John Lee Ratcliffe, Elise Stefanik, Lee Zeldin, Mike Waltz, all the good picks, nobody's talking about those right now. They're talking about this wild card pick of someone who had to get out of the House to avoid being sanctioned by the House Ethics Committee. That dumbfounding pick is just sucking the oxygen out of all the good ones he made.
So Trey Gowdy, and by the way, he was, to go back in time on the beginning of the Russia collusion, the Russia hoax, Paul Ryan, who hates Trump, is on the board at Fox, forced Devin Nunes, who was Kash Patel's boss. So the cast of characters over there, just Kash Patel was the lead counsel. The chief investigator and the kind of chief of staff was Colonel Derek Harvey. So we've all worked together for a long time. So you have Kash, you have Derek Harvey, and Devin Nunes, who runs True Trump Media, was the head of the intelligence committee, a fantastic guy. He, because he was an ally of ours, was removed by Paul Ryan. He said he had conflict. Recused him. Forced him to recuse. And in the place, he put Trey Gowdy, who was on the committee, against Shifty Shift and Swalwell. And I had the pleasure of spending, 20 hours being grilled by these guys, looking for perjury traps all the time, being grilled. And the worst was Trey Gowdy. He was trying to dig up stuff on Trump.
Okay, so Trey Gowdy is an anti-Trumper. He's an ever-Trumper. And he's being paid by Fox News. He's absolutely a weasel. And Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, has said, we're not messing around. We're getting Matt Gaetz in as Attorney General. Here's Speaker Johnson.
The reason that Matt Gaetz is such an exciting pick to so many people is because he will go in and reform the Department of Justice. It desperately needs it. Look, he and I sat on the Judiciary Committee together for almost 7 years before I became Speaker of the House, and we heard the evidence. We saw the evidence of lawfare. We saw how the Department of Justice had been used for political purposes, how they targeted Catholics in some examples, and parents at school boards, and pro-life Americans. This is not what our system of justice was built to do, and Matt Gaetz will go in there and shake it up. And I think most of the American people understand that's an important function.
Yeah. So let me tell you what's going to happen. Trump's going to get all of his cabinet nominees. He's going to get them. He's either going to get them confirmed in the Senate, or he's going to do the recess appointments. That's the deal. And it's up to the Rhino senators, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, if they want to play ball or not. And if they don't want to play ball, it's going to be a tough time for them getting reelected. I'll tell you, I don't think they'll go after Susan Collins in Maine. Maine's a weird situation. She'll get reelected. She's up for reelection in 2026. She'll get reelected. They'll leave Susan Collins alone. But they're going to defeat Lisa Murkowski in Alaska. That'll be the priority. I'm just telling you, that's where it's going to play out. So either get with the program or get out. That's the message to all the rhinos, the rhino Republicans in the Senate. Hey, when we come back, speaking of senators, Tom Zalestowski from Ohio is going to tell us what we know about Mike DeWine and who he's going to pick to replace J.D. Vance in the U.S. Senate. Back after this.
Hey there, this is Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of The Glock Store. As a proud sponsor of this show, you may have heard Michael Patrick Leahy mention us a few times over the past 4 years. But today, it's me on the radio telling you how pleased we are to be associated with Michael Patrick Leahy and his dedication to the highest levels of professional journalism. Michael Patrick Leahy has been threatened with jail time in bringing the true facts about that Nashville Covenant shooting to his listening audience. Michael Patrick Leahy, you keep doing what you're doing, and we here at the Glock Store will keep sponsoring your show for the good of Nashville and the entire country. And I'm personally inviting all of your listeners to come visit and shoot at the Glock Store. It's where Michael Patrick Leahy learned to shoot a gun for the first time and where he bought his own personal Glock 19. I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of the Glock Store here in Nashville, just minutes from the airports, worth the drive from anywhere, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy and the Tennessee Star Report.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are joined on our Zoom Newsmaker line right now by our very good friend, Tom Zalistowski from Akron, Ohio, with the We the People Convention. Welcome, Tom.
Good morning, Michael. And yes, I'm still smiling and I'm still celebrating our historic victory. And I just have not had enough winning by a long stretch.
Yeah.
And I am just enjoying life. And I hope you are doing the same.
I am. So, you and I have been involved in the Tea Party movement for 16 years. 16 years we've been working on this.
Yeah.
And it's not just you and me, of course. Obviously, it's thousands and thousands of people around the country who got started in 2009, really, with the Tea Party movement. And now, finally, we are assured that we've saved the republic, at least for our generation, with the election of Donald Trump. It's an adjustment to the mindset, isn't it, Tom?
It really is. I mean, I was said on my podcast that, some of us have like post-traumatic stress syndrome, because it's just been like Charlie Brown in the football so many times. And I had to counsel them and say, listen, no, celebrate this. We did it. This is historic. And, we're now turning it over to a new generation, Michael, which we didn't really have the ability to do that. But now you've got J.D. Vance and Vivek and Tulsi and Tucker and people who are younger than us who now believe like us to carry the ball forward. And that's very rewarding for those of us who spent so many years and so much time, effort, and money to make this all possible. It's a joyous time, Michael.
It's absolutely. And we have to, I think, stop thinking, oh, it's terrible. We got to fight against this. It's inevitable. I mean, I've had friends that for years have said, ultimately we're just going to have to break up into two countries. And but that's not the case anymore. Actually, we are not. We are on it.
It's really
Isn't
not.
That exciting?
And we have to learn that. We have to figure out, that we've done it. We fought the fight. Now put your gun down and don't pay as much attention to politics. Sure, it's a citizen's responsibility to stay informed. But now focus on these wonderful holidays that are coming up. Yeah. Focus on all the good things that are going on and just enjoy life. Talk about starting businesses or, just doing things that make your life better, fixing things around your house or whatever. We could never do that. We were always focused on saving the country.
And now the country, at least for the next generation and possibly for even, decades beyond that.
A lot longer.
And look, a lot of this stuff is just, the nuts and bolts of landing the plane, right? That's a lot about what. Speaking of landing the plane, okay, so Governor Mike DeWine, who is not our favorite and a classic rhino, has the legal authority, however, to appoint the replacement for J.D. Vance in the Senate. Now, J.D. Vance, America First guy, I mean, incredible candidate, incredible vice president. He's going to be hard to replace at the level of performance that he had. Who are the candidates and what is Governor DeWine thinking on this?
So the frustration, Michael, for those of us who've been in this movement for 15, 16 years and have fought so hard. Remember, Donald Trump won Ohio 3 years in a row, three elections in a row, and won by the biggest margin this time ever. And yet it's not like Governor DeWine is concerned about who we want. That we want a real MAGA person to replace J.D. Vance. Instead, he's going through his Rolodex of people like Matt Dolan, the senator from Cleveland, Jane Timken, the former ORP chairman.
Ohio Republican Party is ORP. And
that's right. And it's not our people.
Tom, just as an aside, we did a whole series of stories when Neil McCabe was with us at the Ohio Star, documenting all sorts of financial irregularities at the Ohio Republican Party when Jane Timken was the head. But she's on the list, right, that he's considering.
See, and this is the problem. I mean, when we say, a lot of people say, our Republican Party is corrupt. No, the facts are clear. 2 of the last 3 Republicans House speakers went to prison, were investigated by the FBI. I mean, the corruption is real.
It's real.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're in this environment where DeWine is going to make a political decision, and this new woman popped up. I sent you that link, Michael, and I never heard of this.
Who is it?
Mahika Cook, who's a attorney in Ohio.
Mahika Cook,
and I'd never heard of her.
Mahika.
Yeah, Mehek, Mehek, Cook, Coke. She was born in India, and she's apparently a Trump person. A legal surrogate for Trump in 2024 is under consideration. I don't even know who the heck this person is, but maybe it's Trump trying to inject someone that he likes.
Mahika,
but boy, we sure wish we could do someone that's more from Ohio that we like.
So is Tom Zalestowski on the list?
Not as Mike DeWine's making the
heads explode.
That's for sure. I would probably be popularly, very much supported, but not on Mike DeWine's list, I don't think. But hey, it's all good. It's all good.
It is.
The thing that your listeners need to understand is this is a little bit more complicated, and I didn't really understand all this. So J.D. Vance is not going to resign his Senate seat till in January because there's still things going on.
He's going to wait until he will resign the morning of January 20th.
That's right, real close to that. And then he has to. The person they appoint has to run in a special election just 2 years from now, in November of 2026, and then run again in November of 2028 for the full 6-year term. So the person you appoint to this position is going to have to be able to defend it, and that's going to be no easy task.
So I would say, here's my. Would you like to know my list?
I would love it. Yes.
I have 2 people at the top of my list that I should ask the Governor DeWine to appoint. Number 1 is Tom Zalestowski. Number 1A is Jack Winter. What do you think?
There you go. I think Jack has about as much chance as I do with Governor DeWine. Jack, we are probably 1 and 2 on his enemies list, right?
Jack Winter has been a reporter for the Ohio Star, now heads up the Ohio Press Network, is famous for, during the COVID period, when he was with us and going and asking the governor some COVID questions that the governor didn't want to answer, and it was uncomfortable for the governor.
I do recall something about removing his press credentials and no longer allowing him at those conferences.
Yeah, he lost his press.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, President Trump, I hope, will have something to say about it because it is important that we get our Trump supporter, whoever it is, to be this senator.
Yeah. My guess is that DeWine probably is inclined towards Jane Timken. That'd be my guess.
I think there's a lot. He said something in this article about this attorney, this Mahika Cook, that rumors are that he wants to promote a woman. That isn't that a totally Democratic thing, right? Let's do it based on gender, not on merit. Yeah, that just proves that he is a trans Democrat.
Then her name is Mahika Cook. Is that it?
Yeah.
And what's her? She's an attorney, but what's her background?
She's been a fundraiser. She was apparently an attorney for the governor a few years back and during the COVID period. But she worked with Trump on the 2024 campaign. She ran for a House seat in Ohio and did not win. So
the state house, house seat.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Didn't win.
And so we'll see. But she just came out of the blue, and as you know, Michael, that stuff doesn't just happen. Somebody leaked that.
No, I got another person who would be great. She's a woman. She's a friend of ours. She's a state rep, Beth Lear. How about Beth Lear?
Oh boy, I'd love that.
Let's start.
That'd be great.
Let's start the
That'd
Beth Lear for U.S. Senate campaign.
There
What do you
you
think?
go.
Because
there you go.
she.
Well, I'll tell you the guy that I think, Michael, really should get consideration, but won't is Frank LaRose, our Secretary of State.
Yeah, he won't get.
He is probably the most MAGA, person with a statewide reputation, which really helps when you run for re-election.
He's got
senator, that. You have to be statewide.
But he's a little too MAGA for DeWine, don't you think? I mean, I don't think DeWine.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. Yep.
But Beth Lear, now Beth is MAGA, and she's been elected to 2 terms in the state house, but Beth doesn't have any enemies as far as I can tell, and right
in the Republican establishment. I tell you what, I mean, did you see that the Senate passed a bill to make all the public schools have male and female bathrooms only, and now the teachers union is asking DeWine to veto it because it has nothing to do with student education or anything. This is a political thing, and DeWine might do that.
Tom, we need to do more of this. Is fun because I think we'll come up with some great ideas for Mike DeWine, and he really, I'm going to send him this clip. Governor, look, you got to consider State Rep Beth Lear, Tom Zalestowski, Jack Windsor. Those are the top 3 candidates for the Senate.
All right, I love, and I'll repost it on Twitter when you put it up there, Mike.
You bet. Hey, thanks, Tom.
All the best. Have a great week, everybody. Keep celebrating. Be happy. We did it.
Anthony Costantino, the head of Sticker Mule, it just announced for Congress in upstate New York. We'll talk to him after the break.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back. We welcome to our newsmaker line right now our very good friend Anthony Constantino, the founder of Sticker Mule, lives in Amsterdam, New York. Just announced he's running for Congress in the 21st Congressional District of Upstate New York. Anthony, great to have you on the show.
Likewise, happy to be talking.
Well, look, I love this story. I love what you've done with Sticker Mule. Briefly, tell us about your career building Sticker Mule up and how big it is right now.
Sure, I like good stories too, and I like to do things very quickly. So Sticker Mule started very quickly 14 years ago. Me and my friend, who was in his 70s at the time, had got through his whole career, never had used a computer before, came and saw me, and I BS with him about starting an internet company. Believe it or not, he didn't even know what the internet was. He said, what do people do on the internet, Anthony? He never used the internet. He knew what it was, but he never used it. I opened up my laptop, showed him the internet, and he said, wow, we got to start a company together. And next thing you know, 3 months later, we got a company. So I'm used to moving very quickly. We built Sticker Mule very quickly. It grew from just an idea to over 1,200 people in 14 years. We're 1,200 people now in 39 countries. And I like moving quickly. I like good stories. And
so you got 1,200 people that work for you, Anthony. Fantastic.
1,200
and you
people, about 1,000 manufacturing, almost 1,000 manufacturing jobs in the United States, but 1,200 people
and
all
those
over
who,
the world.
Anthony, those who are watching us on YouTube can see right now on my laptop computer, I have a sticker for the Michael Patrick Leahy Show that we purchased from you at Sticker Mule, and it's fantastic.
That's wonderful.
So you have made a lot of news as a supporter of Donald Trump. You put this pack together where you gave out a bunch of Donald Trump stickers, and then before the election, you're headquartered in Amsterdam, New York, upstate New York, my old stomping grounds, where I grew up there as a kid. Throughout this district, I lived in Madison County, which is sort of on the edge of this district, but then also in Clinton County, Plattsburgh and Dannemora. I grew up there as a kid. But you live in Amsterdam, which is right on the edge of the district, the southern edge. You have headquarters there. You've revived downtown Amsterdam. You put this big Donald Trump sign on a couple of weeks, and the Democrat mayor tried to get you to take it down. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so first of all, my business is in Amsterdam. I also have a home in Edinburgh. I've had it my whole life, which is in the district as well. So I'm in the district, but I move very quickly with everything I do. And like one of the news cycles, because people forgot about, was my biggest news cycle by far was actually 5 minutes after a bullet hit President Trump. I said enough of the nonsense. People got to start speaking up and admitting they support him. So about 5 minutes after President Trump got shot, I fired off an email to my 5 million customers. I composed an email, fired it off to 5 million customers, put it on social media, and I simply said I support President Trump. Many at Sticker Mule do. Some also support Biden. We all get along, and I don't see why we can't respect each other more in the country, throughout the country. And that was a massive news cycle and indicative of my propensity to move very quickly. And ever since I did that, I just said, what can I do to stop a big problem that I called anti-Trump hate? So as you mentioned, I sent out happy sticker packs. I sent out a lot of sticker packs to as many people as I could. And then I just kept using my creativity to decide to think about what else we could do. And so ultimately, I ended up saying, what's the best way to let the world know I support Trump in a respectful way? And I said the best way to do it is maybe put a massive Vote for Trump sign on top of my tallest factory building that's visible from the New York State Thruway. And I had it designed by a team of artists. It's a beautiful sign. I had it locally handcrafted out of steel. I think in total it cost me probably over $250,000 to put together. But the best thing about the sign is it's so beautiful that everybody likes it.
Yeah.
Even Democrats like it.
It's a beautiful sign. I have to say, it's credit to you. Beautiful sign.
That was part of the trick, It had to be beautiful. I said, it's so beautiful, everyone's going to like it. And people say, Democrats don't like it, and they start listing off politicians. They say, there's no way Nancy Pelosi likes that sign. I say, no, and Jerry Nadler doesn't like that sign. I said, no, the politicians don't, but the people do. It doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. Voters like tributes to historic American figures, and voters like artwork, and they like beautiful things, and it's a beautiful sign. It's a tribute to a historic person named Donald Trump, and the voters love the sign. Everybody likes it. Democrats and Republicans both like it, but the politicians don't. The Democrat politicians.
So Anthony, since Donald Trump won on November 5th, Elise Stefanik, who's represented the New York 21st District, which extends from the Canadian border to Lake Champlain, all the way down to the Mohawk Valley, and then off over towards almost to Lake Ontario, the beautiful Adirondacks, where I grew up, where you grew up. Donald Trump has nominated her to be the ambassador to the United Nations. She's accepted. That means there'll be a special election, and boom, first mover advantage. You have announced you're going to spend $3 million in that special election. Tell us a little bit about your political interests. So let's start off with, who did you vote for in 2016 and 2020? Were you a Trump guy, or did you become a Trump guy?
So believe it or not, I was one of the first people to be canceled. I was canceled before they called it cancel culture. The word didn't exist yet, but I donated $500 to President Trump when he was still candidate Trump. My company got canceled for it in 2016. We were much smaller at the time, probably only a few hundred people at the time, and so it was a traumatic experience. And I got a
so you donated $500 to Trump in 2016, and you got canceled.
Yeah, there's some influencer. You know, people like to hurt.
Wow.
People know they like to hurt people, and so you know, on the left particularly, they like to be mean at times to people. And so, yeah, for my $500 donation, I got canceled in 2016.
Wow.
We got bombarded with tens of thousands of emails and hate messages all over the internet for about a week of my life. We didn't see it coming, so it was a very traumatic experience for the company. We were only a few hundred people. I'd worked my whole life building this, you know, I'd worked for, you know, a period of time building this incredible company. I said, everyone thought the company was, you know, we were doomed. It was really, we never experienced anything like that. You know, like all of a sudden thousands and thousands of people are saying they hate you, they're never going to buy from you again. And so it was very traumatic. I got a front row seat to political hate, particularly political hate coming from the left. You know, I've been mindful of it ever since, and I've seen how that hate isn't only been directed at me. They directed it a lot of people, so many people you can't even remember all the names. And so I said, look, what am I going to do? I'm going to focus as hard as I can on building my company to be very strong so that no one can ever hurt us in the future in that way again. Really, the pain was more emotional than financial for what we went through. We just didn't see it coming, and the employees were never used to anything like that. But I spent the last 8 years making us very strong, making us a much stronger company, and I guess that put me in a position to.
And now you're ready,
as I did 3 months ago. Yeah.
So let's talk about Elise Stefanik.
It was a great experience in the long run. It made me tough. It made us very tough. I referenced, like, there's other companies. There was a company called Basecamp where the CEO said something very mild, and his employees got so frustrated. Half the company quit. It's a story you can look at, happened a few years ago. Half the company quit.
We reported on that.
I spoke up and did what I did. Everybody, you know, everybody stuck by my side. It's different, and I employ a lot of Democrats. It's different. It's 1,200 people. So
sure.
I employ people from both sides. In fact, my Democrat employees tend to be more supportive of my efforts than anyone because they think what I'm doing is, they know who I am, they know I have good intentions, and they think I'm bringing people together, which they like.
Have you been a registered Republican your whole life, or just when did you become registered?
So, believe it or not, even though I supported President Trump and I got canceled in 2016 over it, I had a friend of mine who ran for mayor of Albany in 2018. He's a conservative Democrat, and I registered as Democrat to support him in 2018. He wanted to unseat the far-left mayor, Kathy Sheehan, and so I support him in 2018, I registered as a Democrat to do that, and I had no political ambitions at the time, so I just left my registration until recently. I fixed it. And
so when did you register as a Republican, Anthony?
About a few days ago.
A week or 2 days ago. Okay. Have you talked to Elise Stefanik about succeeding?
She called me. We've been in communication.
What did she say?
She seems very supportive. You know, I don't want to. We had about a 30-minute conversation, and she was giving me a lot of insight, and she seems very supportive of my situation. She wants to know I'm fully committed, which I am, and but she seems very supportive. When we went to high school together, and the interesting thing.
No, you went to high school with Elise Stefanik?
Yeah, ironic. Yeah, we went to high school
together. Did she go to
and
Albany Academy with you?
I went to Albany Academy for girls. I went to Albany Academy for boys. And,
so in high school, did you guys think? Did you know her in high school?
I knew of her, but I had my friend circle. She's a little younger than me. So we knew of each other, but we didn't socialize.
Well, that's fascinating. That's fascinating. You're going to spend $3 million on that. In that rural district, in the rugged Adirondacks, where I grew up, that's a lot of money. And has anyone else come up and said they want the seat?
So the actual number is 2.6, and I just put the number. I did the deposit to show people I'm serious, and I did the deposit because I like to be entertaining. I like to do interesting things, and 2.6 is the number I picked because it's the appreciation and value of my Tesla stock. I invested in Tesla when Elon bought Twitter.
Oh, have you met Elon yet?
No, I've not met.
Okay,
not met
Elon, I think
Elon
would like talking to you. I'm pretty sure.
I would like talking to him, so hopefully our paths cross. But yeah, I don't suspect it'll cost that, but I want to show people I'm prepared. I'm serious, and I like the number. I opened up my investment portfolio, and I said how much have I made off my Tesla? It said 2.6. So I posted a picture of the appreciation and value of my Tesla stock to Twitter yesterday.
That's great.
That went super viral, and that's where I got the number from.
You have
will actually cost that or
Anthony,
not.
You have a flair for promotion, and I think that's great. Do you anticipate when will the special election be held?
I'm learning very quickly, so I'm not sure. Right now my focus honestly is I want to be respectful to the process. There's people that have been involved in politics for a really long time and serving the country for a really long time, and so right now my focus is on meeting the individual county chairs. I got a meeting with one of the county chairs.
Which county chair are you meeting with tonight?
Meeting the county chair from Saratoga tonight.
Got it. Well, here's the thing about in New York State. The county chairs play a big role in terms of the selection of the nominee. Back in 2010, as you probably recall, New York 23 was the district at that time, and it was a huge battle. This was during the Obamacare vote was about to come up. They had a special election. Doug Hoffman was the independent. They had a rhino who was running, who was going to vote for Obamacare as a Republican. And then you had a Democrat, Bill Owens, who was running. Had been a Republican seat for a long time. And narrowly, the Democrat won because the rhino backed the Democrat. And the county chairs played a big role there. So are you going to talk to how many counties are there? 8, 9,
15.
10?
So 15. I'm looking to meet with everybody. I'm going to be in my car, I guess, for most of the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm trying to meet all the county chairs. So I want to be respectful to the.
Would you do me?
I want to get feedback from the county chair. I want to get feedback from the county chairs.
Do us a favor, as you're driving your car around the district, can you do a 2-minute YouTube video and send it to us, and we'll promote it, because I'm very interested in these conversations with the county chairs.
Wonderful. Yeah, we'll try to get something out. Yeah, we'll try to get that done. That's a great idea.
They play a big role. Well, Anthony, just such a delight to talk to you, especially since it's my old stomping grounds as a kid, and I know the area well. Get in your car, drive around, have a great time, and let us know what people say.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting, really exciting. People ask me why I'm doing it, and I said, look, I think the big reason is this wasn't my intention. I had no political ambitions until recently, but I'm a fairly talented guy. I've been good at a number of different things in life. I was good at building
Anthony, let me just say this. You are being modest. You are far beyond a fairly talented guy. You got a sense of how to make things happen, and we really appreciate that. Anthony, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
It's a real pleasure.
Wonderful.
Come back again as you travel around the district.
All right. We'll be in touch. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Anthony. Back with more after this. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumber yard for $200 in hidden charges, and D.T. McCall & Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Okay. Anthony Constantino. Fun guy. Really fun guy. Look, straightforward, honest. He just recently became a Republican. Okay. Gave Donald Trump $500 in 2016. Going to spend $2.6 million to get elected. $2.6 million. And that's because that's how much his value of stock in Tesla has gone up. What a guy. He's funny. Look, why not? One thing I'll say about Anthony Constantino, the guy's not a weasel. Right? Okay, so we're going to track that. We're going to have some fun with that. I like the guy. Look, I mean, people are wondering, is he really MAGA? I don't know. I mean, he's busy building a business. I think, I think he's opportunistic, right? Because if he were really thinking about being a political guy, he would not have registered as a Democrat, right? He would have registered as a Republican. But okay, look, we need a Republican in that seat, and it's been relatively safe Republican since at least Stefanik's in it. But remember now, they had a Democrat in it for several years when Bill Owens came in, when it was New York 23. So we'll track that. I like that, and I'm kind of biased because I know that area so well. I grew up there as a kid. Okay, let's. I hesitate to say this. Should I say it? I'm going to say it. Gwen Waltz made this phrase infamous, but it's time to turn the page, everybody. Let's talk about all of the appointments that Donald Trump is making. And look, I'm interested in what are the big ones outstanding. Secretary of Treasury, that's going to be interesting. A minor one out there, Surgeon General. People wanted Ben Carson. What does the Surgeon General do? Not much, right? Say things about you should have a healthy life. Thank you very much. You should be healthy. Okay. But what I think is really, Ben Carson said, no, I'm not going to be Surgeon General. He's looking for a real gig, right? He was housing and urban development last time around. Did a good job. I think he's disappointed he doesn't have health and human services. I think, though, let's be honest about what Donald Trump is doing. He's going for the young generation, right? New blood. People that are loyal. And Carson is loyal. Carson's very effective. But he's not young. He's, 74, 75? Getting up there in age. And but he's looking for a gig. I don't know what it would be. Would he go back to housing and urban development? There's a place I'd like to get rid of. Maybe he puts Ben Carson into as Secretary of Education with the task of terminating the Education Department. That'd be a big deal. And perhaps Ben Carson would consider it. That might be a good place for Ben Carson to go. The other things that are outstanding are Secretary of Treasury and also Secretary of Transportation. What else? FBI, right? I'm in the camp of I'd like to see Kash Patel because, personally, our litigation to get the Covenant Killer Manifesto, they've been very disruptive and deceptive on it. and unnecessarily obstructionist. And I think Kash Patel would, get rid of that. He's relatively young, but okay, fine. You need to make a change there. Now, let's talk about, so I would say this. If Dr. Ben Carson's looking for a good place to helpful in the cabinet, appoint him Secretary of Education with the purpose of, shutting it down. He could do that in 2 or 3 years. I think that'd be great. Secretary of Treasury, what's going on there? It's an unusual circumstance, and that is Elon Musk has publicly come out in favor of Howard Lutnick. Steve Bannon supports Scott Bessent. We like Scott Bessent. There's an issue with Scott because he got a start as a hedge fund guy with George Soros, but he's got a very different take on it, and I think he would be more capable of doing the kind of transformation that the president's looking for in Treasury. But either way, it's fine. It's not my job. It's to pick the candidates. And all these people are saying, well, the president, he could have made a better pick. Did you run for president? Did you get shot at twice? No. Donald Trump got a mandate. Donald Trump should have the team that he wants. Come on, man. Take a page from old Joe Biden. So we'll see how that all plays out. Oh, the other one is Secretary of Transportation. Look, the transportation system is a total disaster here right now. I don't think Ben Carson would be the guy there. He doesn't have any transportation background. He didn't actually have any, housing and urban development background. I guess he had some background. Didn't he live in public housing for a long time as a kid? I don't know who you get for transportation, but I think somebody who's cutting edge. Look, I love the appointment of Chris Wright as Secretary of Energy. The guy runs a fracking company. Talk about in your face. I love that. Okay, we'll be back with the Tennessee bonus hour after this. If you're listening in Pennsylvania, Virginia, and West Virginia, Georgia, you'll get Rob Carson. But I'll be back in Memphis and Nashville with the Tennessee bonus hour, and our good friend Crom Carmichael joins us. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. Stick around.